to be an NFL starter or a backup, Stephen A?
Starter. He's 23 years old. He's 23 years old. He was contaminated by Adam Gase. Go back and look at the laundry list of individuals that departed from Adam Gase and ended up looking better. You know what I'm saying? There's a few of them out there. Okay, check out Stephen A's World this afternoon, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. I'll give you the list. I mean, he was playing for a coach that showed up high, and as far as I'm concerned, never stopped looking high, because that's how he looked on the sidelines as a coach of New York Jets, in completely over his head. Should have never had the damn job to begin with, and Sam Darnold has suffered because of it. Now that Sam Darnold is gone, I think Matt Rule is proven to be a quality coach, and I think he's only going to get better on the NFL level. You're playing with Christian McCaffrey, who I think has suffered from affirmative action in reverse, for crying out loud, because if Christian McCaffrey were black, we would have been talking about him years ago, as opposed to him coming to the NFL and having to prove himself when the man ran for 2,000 yards at Stanford. Christian McCaffrey is a stud, a baller, okay? So you still got him. Robbie Anderson, you used to play with him in New York. Now you're with him in Carolina, okay? I think it's going to be a good situation for Sam Darnold. I have no doubt about it. I think ultimately he'll be a starter. At some point we need to talk about Teddy Bridgewater, because it's not like he's a scrub, all right? It's not like he can't play. And so, you know, he's only got 1 year left on this deal, but they clearly, 15 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, they clearly look at him as relatively pedestrian at the quarterback position. He's an elite backup, an average starter. They clearly think more of Sam Darnold. Otherwise, they would not have made this deal to get him. He's only 23, and Mel Kiper Jr. said earlier today on Get Up, if Sam Darnold was in this year's NFL draft, he would be a top 3 overall pick. I think you take that into consideration. He's younger than Joe Burrow. The brother's got 3 years experience in the National Football League. Adam Gase won't be his coach. He's got a familiar wide receiver that he used to play with, and a stud in Christian McCaffrey, who only played 3 games last year, so he's going to be hungry this year. I think all those things considered, it's a winning situation for Sam Darnold, who, by the way, is in the same division as Matt Ryan, who's old, Drew Brees, who's gone, and obviously Tom Brady, who's about to leave in another year or two. I think it's a great situation for Sam Darnold, and I think the Carolina Panthers made the right decision, and they win this trade. He is a starter in this league, and I think he will be for years to come.
He might be, but if you're asking me more likely, I have to take backup. And the reason I have to take backup is because he's been in the league for 3 years, and he's been the dead last worst starter in the league all those years. In other words, if you weren't better than Sam Darnold, you were on the bench. Anyone worse than him wound up backing up. And in fact, some people better than him wound up backing up. He was dead last among starters. So he's only 23. He was in a bad situation. He has obvious talent. You can see he's mobile. He's tall enough. He has some leadership qualities. He has a good arm. He has arm talent. The whole thing. So, yeah, maybe in the right situation, maybe that's Joe Brady. He works. I mean, obviously, a lot of teams think highly of him, because when you look at the Panthers, they could have walked away, it looks like, with Justin Fields, right? According to most mock drafts, at least. You know, if it holds true to most mock drafts at this point, Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, and then if Mac Jones is actually the guy taken in San Francisco, I mean, you start looking at teams. Well, the Bengals don't need a quarterback, obviously, right? Who do the Falcons draft a quarterback? And then who would that be? Because you have Trey Lance and Justin Fields. Obviously, the Panthers looked at Darnold and thought, we think he's at least comparable to those guys, and we can use our high pick to go get another offensive player or go get some more help, whatever they want to do. I get all that, guys. Based on the evidence so far, a guy can look really good and you can write it off to circumstance, but I haven't seen where I would say it's a better than 50-50 bet that this dude is a long-term starter. Maybe he is. I wouldn't write him off. Obviously, the Panthers aren't writing him off. But based on what I've seen so far, I can't sit here and say that's better than a 50-50 shot.
Max, I would have agreed with you a year ago. But I saw what transpired in Cleveland this year. What a system, what surrounding and insulating a quarterback can actually make him look like. Like, let's be real, y'all. Baker Mayfield didn't have a groundbreaking year. It was nothing individually to look at Baker Mayfield's year and say, oh, he played out of his mind and he's become the top 10 or elite quarterback. But I saw what Kevin Stefanski could do with him, and we also saw the turnovers go down, which is one of the things about Sam Darnold. I liken this a lot to what Jameis Winston may have happened with him and Sean Payton. Look, to get to the answer, starter, Joe Brady, the maturation of Joe Burrow at LSU from 16 touchdowns to 50 the following year because of systems, using talent, being able to surround this kid. Look, man, we all know the situation Sam Darnold was in. We all talked about Kitchens with Baker Mayfield in over his head. We all talked about Hugh Jackson not managing that situation right and being out. And then we saw a competent offensive coach, a competent offensive coordinator, put him in a situation where Baker Mayfield could thrive and look really good at the quarterback spot. I believe the same thing for Sam Darnold. And Stephen A., you mentioned the guys with Adam Gase. Take Ryan Tannehill. Look at their QBR, very similar. When he was under Adam Gase in Miami, was a little bit better, but you also think about what guys have shown us with a change of scenery and put in the right situation. Sam Darnold's arm talent is there. The physical ability, the ability to move, that athleticism we saw against the Denver Broncos. This dude is a starter in this league, and it's a damn shame what transpired with him and the New York Jets. And look, Joe Douglas, he has it all on the line because this is the draft where if he takes Zach Wilson and it works out, we'll love him forever as a general manager. If it doesn't and you end up back in the same situation and Sam Darnold goes with Matt Rule and Joe Brady and has success, we all will see the question answered again. How much does systems matter and young quarterbacks being in the right situation? We saw it happen with Baker Mayfield. We saw it happen with Ryan Tannehill and Arthur Smith in Tennessee. I expect to see it happen with Sam Darnold and Joe Brady in Carolina.
Josh Allen.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.